All right, now that we're past the elections, I want to take a quick look at the stock market and also the metals. Um, it looks to me like we're getting confirmation today that this was a daily cycle low. And let me actually switch this over to the S&P. Um, that's what I do the counts off of. All right. Um, there was some question whether or not this was going to come down and make a lower low. It did in the Dow, but it held in the S&P. So at this point, I'm working off the theory that this was the intermediate cycle low. This was our first daily cycle of a new intermediate cycle, and it double bottomed. It tested this low, and it appears to have held. And now we're starting another, which would be the second daily cycle. And now, going back to the NASDAQ, because I think this is where the bubble is going to be at. What I think is happening is, as I said before, I think we're moving into the bubble phase of this bull market. I think it's going to come earlier than what I was anticipating. I thought we'd probably have another 10 years, but at this point, um, it looks like we are starting a bubble. So let me expand this chart and show you kind of what makes me think that. All right. So for most of the bull market, we kind of remained in a rising, moderately rising channel. We started to break out of that last year as the repo market started to seize up and the Fed began another round of QE. Then we get, of course, we get the crash into the 4-year cycle low. And in my opinion, this loaded the slingshot, and then you can see what has happened since. We've just come roaring back out of this, and we've clearly broken out of this channel that we've been in. And I think we're kind of in a halfway volatility zone. Would be how I would label this. I think once we exit out of this volatility zone, then I would kind of anticipate maybe uh, a repeat of this move from whatever this was, 6,600 to 1,200. So almost 100%. I would kind of expect maybe something similar, another move of about 100%, and probably happen very quickly. So you can see here we've this big nasty candle from last week, as of right now anyway. Of course, the market isn't closed, but really doubt that it's going to turn around at the close. It looks to me like we're just going to erase that whole candle this week, and if we can break out of this mess right here, then I think we're starting the next phase of the bubble, and this could take us to, well, if we similar rise as this, another 6,000 points, let's say, could take us somewhere to around 1,800, and it should take 4 to 6 months for that to progress. So I would look for a top sometime in April to June time zone. But as of right now, I think we are setting up to break out of this volatility zone and begin the second and probably last phase of a bubble. Gold is a little tougher. You can see here we've had multiple tests of this 10-week moving average. It's kind of basically the same thing as a 50-day moving average, and we haven't gotten above it yet, and we haven't made a higher high yet. We would need to go, gold needs to go above, I'll just call it 1940. That would signal that this is a daily cycle low, and actually let me convert this to the daily chart. All right, so right now this is the daily cycle high. This looks like a daily cycle low here, and we've kind of, same thing as stock market, we've kind of got a retest of the September 24th low. So far it's holding. So far gold is holding above the 10-day moving average, but it has not made a higher high. Gold needs to come up and break above this peak right here, and that would change this entire pattern of lower lows and lower highs. Now, if this holds, this gives us at least a higher low. This did not break below this, so this is at least one bullish sign. But to complete this, gold needs to get above this high right here, and then at that point, I think we've got all the confirmations we need to tell us where we've got or that this was an intermediate cycle low, and then we would clearly be starting a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. But we haven't created that higher high yet. So we're still on the fence in the metals, not so much in the stock market. I think we have confirmed that we're starting the second daily cycle, and my expectation at this point, until proven otherwise, is that this second daily cycle is going to break out to new highs, and then we're probably going to start the second phase of the bubble in earnest. And like I said, based on the chart pattern, my target would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1800 on the NASDAQ composite.